everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So in this week's video, it's really a study in light and mood. So I have come to this location, a nice reservoir with this building in the background, and I've been here on two separate occasions. One was early morning, so I was here for golden hour and the early start of daytime, and then I'm back today with these moody, cloudier conditions, and I'm going to talk about how both sets of lighting and different weather conditions had an impact on my photos from this particular location. So today is very much a study in moody light, and it is absolutely the right weather conditions for black and white, and also the right location for these weather conditions in black and white, because there is no color in the sky. Everything else here, again, there's not that much color other than the greens and the browns, so it's not going to work well in color. But it's about utilizing the black and white. It's about looking for those different shades within the shots and really just making the most of the really nice definition that I have in the clouds. You know, the water is quite low, so I'm also going to be able to get some definition here of, you know, some of the elements of the reservoir as well. And of course, it's also how the light is interacting with the water. And that's why I really enjoy coming to places that have water with it, because, you know, the light is going to bounce off and interact with the water in different ways. So that's another thing that I'm concentrating on today. So as always with photography, it's about using the conditions that you have. You know, there isn't such a thing as bad light or bad weather. It's just about adjusting what you take. So because I have overcast conditions at the moment, it's great for me to pick out the details. And what I'm doing at the moment is working on some shots of the kind of rock face here, which obviously if the reservoir is up higher, that would not be seen so much. So it's a great opportunity there to pick out the detail of the rocks going into the water, or the slope going into the water, plus the trees as well. And because it is a day at the moment for black and white, as I'm sure you know, black and white photography is great for picking out the details, and that's what I want in this scenario. So I'm just working on a few different shots here. I think I'm going to probably eliminate most of the sky. Just need to have a look to see how that looks. I might maybe do a little slither of sky at the top. It's just a question of balance and making sure that, you know, the sky doesn't dominate, because the subject is the rock face sloping into the reservoir. And when I came here the first time, it was very much a study in softer light, because I was at this location for golden hour and the early start of daytime. So I got completely different lighting, but also completely different weather conditions. So you'll see that I had a little bit of mist in the background, which really helped with the kind of lighting that I was getting, because once the sun did rise, there weren't any clouds in the sky. But I was able to focus in on shots that really worked well with those conditions, with that much softer lighting. Now, while we're on the topic of golden hour photography, in these days I don't do that much golden hour, but when I am shooting out in golden hour conditions, I've really moved away from exposure bracketing. I don't really like the effect that, you know, doing a HDR blend, Lightroom, Photoshop, wherever way you're doing it, I really have moved away from that type of photo. So everything that you've seen or will see for the golden hour is a one shot, one exposure. Now that actually had a massive advantage. One of the shots that you're going to see, in fact I'll show it now, I was able to do because I was using one exposure for that. And it will be obvious when you see the shot why that was an advantage. Yes, I could have exposure bracketed and then blended, but then I would have to have done a secondary process, which would have been really, really difficult to do and to blend in. So as I said, you'll see really why I was able to get that shot by having a single exposure. It does mean that you have to work a little bit harder in camera, but I just prefer the look of having a one exposure shot, as I said, rather than having a HDR edit. Just a personal preference, you guys may have a different view on that. One of the shots I'm going to show you now, I think is actually my favorite shot out of everything that I took. And this was from my first visit. And this was just after the start of daylight. So we moved from golden hour to some very soft daylight, and the sun had come above that hill there, but it was still, you know, pretty soft to some degree, but it worked really, really well. And I was lucky, to be honest. I have been to this location on several times, different days, different times of the day, and I've never had the opportunity to take the shot that I did here. And I was extremely lucky because it was a Saturday morning and I didn't expect it, but it's a question of, you know, being in the right place at the right time, but also relying on a huge stroke of luck. And as I said, I think personally, this is my favorite shot out of the 2 days. And I'm really thinking I might even frame this one and stick it on the wall because I love it so much. I'm going to show it now. So because I have these overcast conditions and it's spitting with rain, what I'm looking for here is a little bit of detail in the reservoir and the landscape behind it. So what I'm doing is just here with the reservoir, there's a lot of different shades that I'm getting because of the lighting. So I'm trying to get those different bands of you know, reflection and light, plus with the sweeping round where it goes into another part of the reservoir as well. And I'm thinking this is definitely going to work better in black and white. So the weather conditions are changing again. There is some blue sky, obviously there's going to be some sunlight as well. So here are those photos. So as always, thank you for watching and see you next time.